Hi there, I'm Andy and welcome to my channel about crypto. First of all, sorry for slightly clickbaity title, but actually it's something really important I want to talk about today. And the title is relatively serious. It's not just simply to drive attention to this video. Basically what I want to talk about is the fact that, well, people are getting into crypto very often to make money and very often hoping to make life-changing amounts of money. And that's often driven by the stories they heard about people making a lot of money on either Bitcoin or Ethereum. But the reality is that while Bitcoin and Ethereum are, in my opinion, still pretty sound investments, and arguably, especially in the bear market, if you're going to get into crypto, well, these are probably the best cryptocurrencies to get into. At the same time, you have to be aware that they are not going to make life-changing amount of money. You cannot create huge amount of wealth by investing in those particular cryptocurrencies, because that opportunity to make that huge amount of, well, to make those huge gains by investing in Bitcoin or Ethereum, that's already behind us. So what I'm trying to say here is that you have to learn more about crypto. You have to learn more about this space in order to fully benefit from it. And I think the opportunities over the next few years will be absolutely insane. I'm definitely still very, very bullish on crypto. And certainly, well, I think that Bitcoin or Ethereum may be the really good or arguably the best first step into this space. But at the same time, I think it's really, really important to be aware that this is not it. You cannot just rely on one of those two cryptocurrencies if you really want to benefit fully from this space. So let's have a quick look at the price of Bitcoin over the last few years. So we are currently sitting around 20,000, give or take a few $100s. And this is the price of Bitcoin, well, since 2018. Well, this peak right here, that was late 2017 and then crashed in early 2018. So if you bought Bitcoin at an absolute bottom after the last bull market, so, well, we had this bull market peak right now, so we are now in the bear market. So equivalent of that would be somewhere here, right? This phase right here in 2018, 2019. So the absolute bottom of that was approximately $3,500, something around here in sort of late 2018, if I remember correctly. Assuming that you bought the perfect bottom, $3,500, you could make approximately 20 times gain if you sold the perfect peak in late 2020 or even late 2021, sorry. So approximately 3,500 to just shy of $70,000 right here. So 20x gain. But you're not going to make the same return on Bitcoin in the next bull run. And that's because in every market cycle, the returns are diminishing. And it's impossible to predict how much they're diminishing by. The market's been quite uncertain over the last few years. But it's quite safe to assume that you won't make 20x on Bitcoin in the next bull run. If you are buying at the current price around 20,000, well, you could probably make about 5 to 7x gain. Why? I expect that it's reasonable to assume that Bitcoin will hit something between 100,000 and 150,000 in the next bull run. It may be slightly higher, but I think 100 to 150K is reasonable. So from the current price, that would give you only 5 to 7x. Even if there is a big market crash at some point in the next few months, which is possible, let's say that Bitcoin will crash to something between $12,000 and $14,000. I don't think it will go lower than that. I'm not even sure if it will reach those figures, but let's assume that you buy this perfect dip around 12 to 14,000, and then you sell the perfect peak in the next bull run around 120, 140,000. Well, that gives you only around 10x gain. And that's assuming that you will play it absolutely perfectly, which is extremely unlikely to happen. At the very least, you will either miss that perfect bottom or perfect peak. Most likely you will miss both by a little bit. Not to mention that actually you shouldn't just go all in at the bottom and go all out at the top, because you just simply don't know where those moments are. So we're probably slowly buying in and then slowly selling once we are approaching the top. But even that theoretical best case scenario, that's around 10x. When it comes to Ethereum, well, there's probably a bit more potential there, but again, that's the sort of figures we're looking at, 5x to 10x. In case of Ethereum, maybe 10x to just above that. I would say probably Ethereum somewhere between 7 and 15x gain at the best. Of course, there are really, really good returns, especially comparing to pretty much any other type of investment. But it's unlikely that this will be sufficient to make absolutely life-changing amount of money, right? Let's say that you put $1,000 into Bitcoin. Well, that will make you, let's say, $10,000. $10,000 will make you $100,000. I mean, it's a nice amount of money, sure. But it's not like you can retire on that amount. It's, in the grand scheme of things, it's probably not as huge as some people may expect by investing into crypto, or certainly nowhere near as much as it was possible to make on crypto in previous bull runs. Sorry, but when I say crypto, I mean in this case specifically Bitcoin or Bitcoin and Ethereum. So what are your other options? Well, you have to find other cryptocurrencies or NFT projects or whatever else you will find interesting in this space, which have that potential for growth. So like I said, getting into Bitcoin or Ethereum is probably a reasonable first step because they are the most established cryptocurrencies. So buying them in a bear market is relatively safe, as much as anything can be safe in this space. But the way you should look at it is not that you will buy some Bitcoin or Ethereum and then wait for that to go to some ridiculous value and then you can sell it and that's it, you're done. Instead, you should see it like, well, you can get into Bitcoin or Ethereum during the bear market. That cryptocurrency will go up in value, I don't know, 3x, 5x. I mean, you certainly don't want to wait until the peak. You want it to go up a reasonable amount, but of course you will need to sell it at some point. But then you need some sort of a game plan, what you will do with that money, how you will reinvest it to actually make much bigger gains. And I talked about this in one of my previous videos, but this is just a slightly different take on it. So I can show you a list of cryptocurrencies I'm looking at. This is by no means financial advice. There are just cryptocurrencies I've been looking at over the last couple of years, well, in some cases just few months. And this list will likely change over time, but there are just some examples of what you can consider. Some still large cap coins like Chainlink or ApeCoin, which are, well, Chainlink is $4 billion, ApeCoin has market cap of $1.5 billion. But they can still go up, I don't know, 10x, maybe more. If we look at the price of Chainlink in the last bull market and ApeCoin, they haven't actually crashed that much. Link went down from the all-time high of, I believe, around $50, I think. Yeah, exactly $50. So, I mean, it's not such a huge crash. Similar with ApeCoin, that was, I think, around 28, if I remember correctly, 24. So, yeah, they are not really down that much percentage-wise. I mean, comparable to, let's say, Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? But then as we start looking at those smaller and smaller altcoins, Vulcan Forge, CDFI, Superfarm, Veracity, and so on, you can see that their market caps are really, really low. $100 million, or in many cases, way below that, around 50 million or less. There are quite a few on this list, as you can see, which have valuations below $10 million. These are the projects which have potential to go up in value massively. I mean, you cannot really expect Link, let's say, to go up from $4 billion to $400 billion, essentially to make 100x, right? It's just a ridiculous valuation. However, it's not completely unreasonable to think that one of those smaller projects, which may have valuations around, let's say, $1 or $2 million or even $10 million, well, they can go 50x or 100x because $2 million times 50, well, that's $100 million. So many projects in a bull run have valuations in multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. Very often not even particularly good projects because literally everything is pumping, right? People are doing exactly what I'm talking about here now. They invested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, or one of the larger cap cryptocurrencies. They took their profits out and they're putting them into those smaller projects in order essentially to multiply their gains. And this is how you can make this huge life-changing amount of money in crypto. This is how it's still possible, not by investing in Bitcoin or Ethereum. Because yes, you can say that this ship has sailed if you want those huge gains. But if you make some amount of money on one of those bigger cryptocurrencies and then roll that into those smaller caps, well, this is how you can still make huge amount of money in the next, I would say, 3 or 4 years. Because it's reasonable to speculate that we'll have a next crypto bull run around 2024-25. There's Bitcoin halving in early 2024, and historically that always led to a bull run. It's likely that we'll have global recession in 2023, maybe early 2024, but then again, there is pretty good chance that by mid-2024 and 2025, everything should be on a rise again. So basically now is perfect time to prepare yourself, to learn about it, because that's the key thing. What you don't want to do is do nothing, right? What most people will do is they won't take any action. They'll be either afraid or they simply think, oh, there's nothing happening, I still have time, whatever. It's like, yeah, you have time, but at the same time you need to prepare for it, because once things start moving, they will be moving quite rapidly. You don't want to start learning about this space when everything is pumping like crazy, because I've done it before and it's not much fun. Everything costs a lot of money. Like, I don't know, gas fees on Ethereum will cost you hundreds of dollars. Trying stuff out will be quite expensive, while right now you can get yourself familiar with the space. You can become confident in the space, and you can plan your moves. And then when things actually start moving up, well, that's where you can take action, right? And how you can prepare? Well, the best way to do it is, depending how familiar you are already with crypto, I would say is just start learning about it. Go on Twitter, go on Discord, start following various crypto influencers, start joining various communities, learn about this space, ask questions, try stuff, get a little bit of Ethereum, try sending some crypto between different wallets, try minting some NFTs and so on. Just play, just try to figure out the space. Find projects that you find interesting, whether that's gaming or decentralized finance or something else. I mean, there is a lot of focus and a lot of expectation that crypto gaming will be really big, and the whole idea of the metaverse. But you don't have to do that if you couldn't care less about gaming, right? Just find something that you find interesting and learn that, explore it, find projects within this space. Best thing about bear market is that a lot of projects are just quietly building. A lot of those projects are quite small. There isn't really that much happening. So very often you may actually find it that it's possible to talk to people quite high up within those projects, to the CEOs, to the founders. You can find out a lot of useful information and position yourself really well for the next crypto bull run. I have a course, Crypto Like a Pro, which of course you can also use. That's one way of learning about this space. But here more specifically, I just wanted to show you what sort of stuff you can look into. So look at things like crypto wallets and security, different types of wallets, custodial and non-custodial wallets, MetaMask, so you can actually connect to different Web3 protocols, set up a wallet, create accounts on crypto exchanges, so then you essentially don't have to wait once the bull market starts and it's difficult to get your new account authorized on an exchange. You can prepare that all in advance. Get yourself familiar with moving funds around, with moving crypto around, with gas fees and so on. Learn about different types of cryptocurrencies, what they do. If you go on something like CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap and look at the list of all cryptocurrencies, I mean, the list is endless, right? And all those cryptocurrencies, they have different utilities. They have different purpose. Some of them serve no purpose whatsoever, but let's not get into that. And again, actually, you do also need to be able to spot that when a cryptocurrency has absolutely no use case, right? Learn what are the different types of getting into new projects, especially at very early stages like ICOs. What is DeFi, decentralized finance, how we can take advantage of it. It's not that great in the bear market, but in the bull market, there are really good opportunities to make really good profits just by simply holding crypto. Different networks, different blockchains. It's not just about Ethereum or Bitcoin, but also Binance Smart Chain, Polygon, Cardano, and so on, many others. Again, get yourself familiar with those different blockchains and how to use them. NFTs are absolutely massive, and they will only keep growing. That should be a whole separate course in its own right, but there's just so much you can do and so much you can learn about NFTs. And if you are an artist, this is like huge. This is going to be absolutely massive in the coming years. And then if you wish, well, you should probably also learn a bit about investing and trading, some basic principles of how you structure your portfolio, when to take profits and so on, how to minimize risk, etc. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff there. If you are interested, do check out my course, Crypto Like a Pro. But the key thing is to start learning, to start experimenting, and essentially start exploring this space. So I hope you found this video interesting. If you do have any questions, please put them in the comment section. If you're interested in the course, please do check out the link in the description. And I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye.